Don't call it a comeback. I never stopped coming.
What's up, guys? So it's been literally over a year at this point since I made one of these fucking things. My apologies. I will put like a timestamp to where you can skip to if you don't want to have some form of fucking explanation for that shit. But before we get into that, what we're listening to is Bastin with Orificial Purge, because that album's fucking great. So the explanation of where I've been is a little complicated. We were going through winter, so it kind of made it a little bit more difficult for me to record initially, and right around that same time, it just, things got a little bit hectic, a little bit weird, and I was actually about to record a new video pretty fucking soon, and then my friend ended up needing a place to live because he found out the place he was living, right out down to the floor joists, covered in mold. Like, everything was moldy. So he shacked up with us for about 6 months. This room is completely, like, unavailable. Didn't have access to my turntable. Yeah. And then I know I said that I'd have something out in December, or by the end of December, but, I mean, it's January, what the fuck ever. So yeah, that's where I've been. I apologize for that huge absence. Channel's probably fucking dead right now, but whatever. Did get a new tattoo in the meantime, though. Painted my nails now, glasses. Yeah. So, anyway, we're back, and I'm here to talk to you about some fucking records, because that's what interests me a hell of a lot more than the CDs. But before we get into the new shit that I want to show, I've got a couple things to brag about. First of all, saw Carnifex again, day before my birthday, actually, in Chicago. Got World War X signed, finally, and I also drank with Fred. I'll be inserting a picture somewhere. Drank with Fred. It's a dream that's been fucking 3+ years in the making, and damn did it feel good. Fred's a fucking great dude. Offered drinks to the other guys. Scott was driving. Corey doesn't really drink too much, and I don't know what Sean was doing. I didn't really see too much of him, but yeah, super chill dudes as always. Yeah, and like I said, World War X signed. Super stoked. And then secondly, I will be putting a link to this artist's work in the description, but I got the shit custom ordered. Lane and I went to a haunted house, I think a day or two after Halloween, and he had like Michael Myers, he had the old illustrations from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. He just awesome work. So I asked him if he did commissions or if this is just the only things he was selling, and I commissioned Pinhead from Hellraiser from him, and I couldn't be happy with how this turned out. It's fan-freaking-tastic, and I'd show you right now, but it's, you know, daylight out. It's also the bitter dead of winter, but it's blacklight too. So you turn off the lights and the shit fucking glows. It's so cool. Like I said, link will be in the description. If you want horror art from him, hit that guy up. I think I paid like $120 for this. Totally worth every penny. Okay, so ironically, right around the same time that my friend moved in is, I think coincidentally, is like a week afterwards, Lane and I and a few friends of ours went to Kentucky for a little vacation. So while we went to Kentucky, I finally met Kanyon in person. We got irresponsibly drunk. It was fan-fucking-tastic. I sat and bullshitted with him for like 2-3 hours, something like that. I literally couldn't be more grateful for him and Kaylee welcoming me into their home and finally being able to meet that bastard in person. I fucking love you, dude, and honestly, you're the main reason I'm recording this video right now. But yeah, when Lane and I went to Kentucky, the following day, we dropped by the mall, one of the malls in Louisville. I'm not quite sure what the name of the mall was, but you know, I hit my usual haunts around there: the Hot Topic, the FYE, Yeah, and when I went into FYE, I was just going through the records for shits and giggles, because they were busy with something else, our friends in Lane. But found this for, you can see it right there, $10. If you have Ghosts, the Ghost EP. This thing is fantastic, but you can absolutely 110% hear that this is kind of where Ghost started to fall off. This is directly after Infesting Your Mom. Love you, Patrick. This is directly after their sophomore album, Infestissimum, and you can kind of hear that this start where they started to get a little more poppy, which, speaking of which, this is going to date the video too, but this kind of, like, they just put out a new song. It's something like Call Me Little Sunshine or something. It's so fucking bad. It was just, like, they had the ball when they released 7 Inches of Satanic Panic, and then they just dropped it, because of course they did. But yeah, this EP is fucking incredible. It's right up there with Pope Star. Great fucking music. You know, if you have Ghost, I'm fairly certain that's an ABBA song. Waiting for the Night, Crucified, I'm a Marionette. Every single song in this thing is a hit, dude. I love this shit. Just black vinyl, but here's the center labels. Both a little spin-off of Nosferatu. But yeah, really not much else to talk about with this one. I'm definitely not introducing anybody to Ghost, considering the fact that they're like a fucking internationally syndicated band. But yeah, if you haven't listened to this, I'll put the song that you need to listen to in the clip. But yeah, this is If You Have Ghost by Ghost. Alright, next that I've got to talk about is a classic, and again, this should not be something that I'm introducing anybody to, because if you don't know it, then there is a problem. Also, sorry, Alphonse is in here. And yes, I know the bed is a fucking mess right now, but that's just how I keep it when I'm recording these videos. No apologies. But yeah, Antichrist by Gorgoroth. True Norwegian black metal. Again, I really shouldn't be introducing anybody to this, but this is one of the best Gorgoroth albums, period. This is not long before they started sucking, and you think Gall for that. But yeah, fuck the title track, Possessed by Satan, Heaven's Fall, Sorg. It's just really fucking great black metal, classic shit. And then all there is just on the back. I got this from my uncle, by the way. This is the back track listing. Picture of Infernus, the man, the myth, the legend, the whole reason we have Gorgoroth. Antichrist is released in support of Deathlike Silence's Productions' pro-use of hard drugs campaign. Drugs are no funds. Drugs endanger the life and happiness of millions. We appeal in particular to the youth of today. Never stop the madness. And then he also Infernus specifically dedicates all of his work on this album to the memory of Euronymous. Don't give a shit, fuck Euronymous. Yeah, the center labels, nothing's interesting, it's just black. Anyway, like I said, I should not be introducing a single one of you fucks to this band or this album, but in case I am, like, as soon as you're done with this video, or even before you're done with this video, go fucking listen to this album, dude. It's a classic for a reason. It's not the 17 millionth fucking Dark Throne clone or drony ambient bullshit with guitars thinly like layered into the mix. No, this is just straight up great fucking black metal, and you need to listen to it if you haven't. This Gorgoroth with Antichrist. Next, we've got, you guys are gonna hate me for this, Carnifex, Graveside Confessions. The two variations that I really wanted, and I had to order them from Empiricon because fuck indie merch. Yeah, so Graveside Confessions, where does this stand on my podium of Carnifex? I'd say where this stands for me is solidly below Slow Death and Die Without Hope, but above World War X, if that makes any sense. This is a great fucking album, and I don't really know how else to put it. Side D is Collaborating Like Killers, My Heart in Atrophy, and Slippery Savior re-recorded, which is super fucking cool considering those... I think those albums are like 15, or those songs are like 15 years old now, which is insane to me. But yeah, Countess of Perpetual Torment, the cover of Dead Bodies Everywhere, Cemetery Wander, January Nights is a fantastic... And you guys know how I feel about most deathcore instrumentals. Normally, I find it incredibly derivative and boring and just people, oh, look at us, we're Mr. Technical Fancy Pants. They did it really fucking good, even if Jordan has left the band. It's not even really a deathcore instrumental. It's more just kind of cold ambience, and it really does make you feel like this is January and the height of when people have like seasonal affective disorder, seasonal depression, and things like that. It's incredible. I fucking love it. Graveside Confessions, Cursed, literally just this whole fucking album is incredible, and you guys really need to go listen to it. Like I said, below Slow Death and Die Without Hope, but above World War X. And I like World War X a lot, but Slow Death and Die Without Hope are kind of a high pedestal to kind of top. So here's the first record. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous splatter. Center labels are the exact same. That's the back of it. Here's the lyric pamphlet with all the boys, the back, and lyrics and things. And then here's record 2, this beautiful translucent splatter. Again, center labels are the exact same, back's the exact same. I just wanted the variants because I'm a collector. Anyway, like I said, you guys should really listen to this. I don't get excited about a lot of deathcore anymore, pretty much period. I'm looking forward to the new Rose Funeral. I still haven't listened to Become the Hunter from Suicide Silence. Kin from Whitechapel isn't even really deathcore, but it was just okay. It wasn't nearly as good as The Valley. I'm really not up to date with a whole lot. Slaughter to Prevail, Carnifex, those are the only kind of fucking deathcore bands that I'm really into anymore. And it's because they have enough variation and they do things differently and interestingly enough to hold my fucking attention. It's not just, oh, let's have some harmonic dissonance like Thy Art Is Murder did in 2015 and we'll call that horrorcore. Stupid bullshit. Listen to Graveside Confessions and come back to the video. Let me know what the fuck you think about it. Carnifex, Graveside Confessions. Alright, next up we've got Cold as a Life with Born to Land Hard, and god damn, this album, this last word, makes this album live up to the fucking name. I've been a fan of this album for probably like 4-ish, maybe 5-ish years now, but it finally got pressed to vinyl in 2021, and I was beyond fucking thrilled about it. This is Detroit hardcore. The vocalist, I think his name is Jeff Gunnels, if I'm not mistaken. Sounds like a fucking rabid badger, dude. It's insane. Especially the song Police. Listen to the song Police, listen to that build-up, and tell me that shit doesn't get your blood and adrenaline going. He did this, and then he ended up getting in an injury of some kind. I actually listened to a podcast where he explained most of this. Ended up getting an injury where he got prescribed opiates, and then because our medical system has failed us, instead of getting rehabilitated or weaned off of them, he got taken off the opiates. He became an opiate fiend and then went to prison over it. So yeah, that's a vocalist. Anyway, here's the back of it, and here's the gatefold with Gunnels. Yeah. Here's the inner sheet. I don't know not that well versed in the band, but Fugitive Watch, no idea who the hell Richard Werstein is. Here's this side of it, and then it's on this beautiful blue vinyl. Here's the center label, and then here's the other center label, and then here's this irresponsibly gigantic fucking poster that it's cool, but I don't really want to hang it up because A, it'd be a bitch and a half finding a frame for this, and B, like, it's cool, but that artwork is just not really something I want hanging up in my home, you know? Anyway, like I said, you guys should really, really go listen to this. I understand wholeheartedly if you're not a huge fan of hardcore in general. A lot of the vocals do kind of get samey. That's not really an issue for me. But this is something you need to fucking listen to, period. Because again, he sounds like a rabid fucking badger who just like did a line of fucking cocaine. It's incredible. Check it out. That's Cold as Life, Born to Land Hard. Anyway, going on to the next album, we've got Archgoat with Worship the Eternal Darkness, and holy shit stick. They're on a roll. Like, literally, I know Kanyon just made a video about this, and he just talked about this album, but I've got my own piece to make with this thing. Archgoat, who the hell said that you were allowed to be a band for 30 years and still be putting out shit this fucking infectiously catchy and this good? Like you just non-stop for the last 3 albums. Apocalyptic Triumphator, Luciferian Crown, which I still think is great. It's not Apocalyptic Triumphator, though. This gets the closest to Apocalyptic Triumphator. It's ridiculous. It's infectiously catchy. The grooves on it are insane. It's just... And it's like, when you get to Rats Pray God, that is like some of the most Midnight-esque, sleazy riffing and just overall sound that I've heard on a fucking Archgoat song, dude. It's so fucking good, and you need to do yourself a favor and check this shit out. Anyway, now that I'm calmed down a little bit and done geeking out, his logo, Chris Moyen artwork is incredible as always. Burning angels at the stake. There's the back with all the fellas. And then here's the center art, which is just more demons torturing and whipping and choking angels. Metal as fuck. Download code. Not going to show you guys that because I actually plan on actually using that and getting it on my phone. Here is the lyric sheet. More Moyen artwork. And then on the back, you got Lord Angel Slayer, Ritual Butcherer, Goat Aggressor, just where it was reported, details like that. Thanks. Yeah. And then here's the vinyl itself. This beautiful merge, I guess. It really looks like the warning sign for radiation, but you know, red and black. There's the center labels too. There's no difference. Anyway, I could go on about this album for probably another 5 minutes if I were to just go on a tangent. Anyway, you guys really need to do yourselves a favor and check this out. Like I said, it's not Apocalyptic Triumphator, but goddamn, it's like half a point below that. It's really good, really fun, and infectiously fucking catchy. Do yourselves a favor. This is Archgoat with Worship the Eternal Darkness. And lastly, but most certainly not least, we have Panopticon with Scars of Man on the Once Nameless Wilderness, Part 1. Okay, so this is the last Panopticon that immediately caught my attention from, like, the get-go. That's not to say anything negative about And Again Into the Light. And Again Into the Light is damn fine album, and I actually listened to it when I was over at Kanyon's. Didn't really hear much of it. We were talking over it and very, very belligerently drunk. But yeah, like I said, it's the last one to like immediately catch my attention. Here's the gatefold. Here's the back. I don't think I'll ever not love Panopticon. I practically grew up listening to Kentucky, as that was when a lot of my emotional growing up ended up happening, was listening to that fucking album in general. And then Kanyon actually touched on this subject too, but like the mid era of Kentucky, Roads to the North, and Autumn Eternal, that is kind of like the mid era, and in a way almost the golden era, and this is kind of right at the coattails of it, where it's still fantastic, but not quite there. And I might just be kind of romancing those in my head, because those all came out, again, at very kind of tender times for me, times where I was really growing up and kind of becoming my own person, especially around then. Autumn Eternal came out when I was still with my ex, Amanda. Yeah, I don't know. I just, growing up with those and being in the times that they came out, they were fantastic, and they're still breathtakingly amazing. And this is still breathtakingly amazing. But kind of, I understand in Autumn Eternal, Austin kind of dropped the folk elements entirely. And then he decided that he was going to do a part 2, which unfortunately for me, I didn't realize that this is just part 1. I thought it was part 1 and 2, and I was kidding. My mistake for not checking. But yeah, he decided to put it on an entirely separate vinyl, which is totally fine. Like, a lot of the bluegrass and folk shit that he's done has been absolutely, like, breathtaking. And I'll get part 2 eventually, but the main thing I come to Panopticon for is primarily the black metal. But regardless, that doesn't take away from the fact that this album is still really, really good. It's classic Panopticon doing as Panopticon does. Austin Lunn is a fantastic musician, and that concert I was supposed to go to with Kanyon, just never ended up coming to fruition, which kind of fucking sucks, because I really wish I could have gone to go see that live, but, you know. Here's vinyl 1. You got this very nice pseudo-blended look. There's the center label. There's the other center label. Here's the outside, and I think this is a visit to Listening Point. I believe this is just Austin going on a hike somewhere in Missouri, or I forget where exactly he lives now. Here's the other one. Again, very nice, like, merge, sort of. There's this side, and over here. Yeah, where I was going earlier, far be it from me to tell you guys how to, or even that you shouldn't like Panopticon, or that you should, but sincerely, like, this album, even being a double album, almost feels like the end of an era for Panopticon. It almost feels like Austin is shifting into something different with And Again Into the Light, and I'm here for it, but this is definitely kind of like the end, you know, kind of like how prior to Kentucky there was, on the subject of mortality, social disservices, that was kind of its own era, and then Kentucky came out, and that was the end of another era, and this feels like a send-off to the Kentucky through Autumn Eternal era, shifting into something else, but it's still really good, and you guys need to go check it out. This is Panopticon with The Scars of Man on Once Nameless Wilderness, Part 1. This is Future Austin. It literally says, folk metal inspired the beauty and preservation of Minnesota's beloved Northwoods. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that he lives in Minnesota now. Anyway, that's going to do it for the first video in a fucking year, guys. I know I missed out on Complainathon, I think the last 2 years, actually, but oh well, it's my series. I'll do what I want when I want. Yeah, I'll have a link to the clip that I used for the introduction. Guys, Lyle Wrath, or Wrath Club on YouTube. You can check him out. He's a funny motherfucker. I've been a fan of his for, God, the last like 13 years or so. I'll put a link to Kanyon's channel. And yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for fucking sticking around if you have. I'll see you guys later.
Wasn't one, I'd ask God to start one.
Welcome to hell, motherfucker!